Hi, everyone. I'm Kara Sundlin. It's January 6, 2022. Let's take a look at what was happening in Connecticut history today. The Capitol had been declared safe and lawmakers were back at work after a chaotic afternoon.
Members of Congress made their way through the halls back to the Capitol, flanked by law enforcement officers from multiple agencies.
Violence never wins. Freedom wins. And this is still the people's house.
On the Senate floor, Vice President Mike Pence gave a rousing speech as lawmakers reconvened to continue counting electoral votes. Earlier, rioters stormed the building, breaking through doors and busting windows. Capitol Police drew their weapons at one barricaded door from inside the House, though eventually protesters breached both chambers.
We forcefully got pushed through.
CBS News spoke with protester Boyd Camper from Montana, who was inside the Capitol.
Now, we did charge the aisle into the chambers, and we got tear gas and we got pushed back, okay? And after that, I retreated.
You have to go home now. We have to have peace.
President Trump posted a video that has since been removed from Facebook and Twitter, urging calm. Hours earlier, he addressed a gathering near the White House.
We will never give up. We will never concede.
President-elect Joe Biden also addressed the chaos here, calling it an assault on democracy and an insurrection.
Today's reminder, a painful one, that democracy is fragile, and to preserve it requires people of goodwill, leaders with the courage to stand up.
In response to the day's chaos, several Democratic lawmakers are now calling for President Trump to be removed from office.
5 years ago, a gunman opened fire at the Fort Lauderdale Airport. 5 people were killed, 8 others injured. Courtney Zeller caught up with the passengers as they landed back home in Connecticut.
JetBlue passengers arrived safely at Bradley International Airport in Windsor Locks. Hours before, they were in an airport where 5 people lost their lives and 8 others hurt after an alleged shooter opened fire.
It was kind of shocking, and we were supposed to have taken off earlier, and our plane had technical problems, so they had to bring in another jet. So we actually left later than we should have. So we missed it by an hour.
An hour after they left Fort Lauderdale International Airport, chaos erupted. They tell us they watched on their phones and on in-flight TV screens as they couldn't believe what was happening at an airport they were just in. The shooting happened in the baggage claim area.
We have to go to baggage claim now to get our bags, and you don't know you don't know now, you don't know.
Other passengers who were in Florida at the time and are just getting back into Bradley tell us this.
We flew out today. There was a shooting in an airport. It could have easily been Tampa as well as Fort Lauderdale. Absolutely, absolutely. It's a very scary thing.
And now they say they have more to worry about.
You can't even go take a trip to see family without worrying that there may be an issue.
And 10 years ago, a paramedic was accused of raping a woman in an ambulance. Channel 3's Jill Konopka reported.
Obviously, it's shocking. No member of the public should or would expect to be sexually assaulted during a ride in an ambulance.
Full-time AMR paramedic Mark Powell is on administrative leave tonight after the 49-year-old turned himself in to Hamden police on charges of first-degree sexual assault and unlawful restraint. Investigators say he raped an unconscious 22-year-old woman in the back of an ambulance. Investigators say the victim was strapped to a stretcher and awoke to the assault. Powell was treating her after she fell and struck her head at a Christmas party.
At that time, she could not speak and she could not move.
Police say they have strong evidence against Powell, who, according to Facebook, has worked for AMR since 2006 and previously for Hunter's Ambulance from 1992 to 2011. Detectives would not get into whether Powell's co-worker who was driving that ambulance saw, heard, or reported anything. They do, though, credit the alleged victim with having the courage to come forward.
Clearly, it took a tremendous amount of courage by this victim to report this incident. And I think it should be a message to other victims to please come forward. We know that sexual assaults, a large number of them, go unreported.
Nobody answered our knocks at Powell's North Haven home, where he also is a volunteer fireman who has since been put on leave because of these allegations.
I'm always surprised when I hear stuff like that.
Next-door neighbors are stunned, but say they're waiting to hear the details of the arrest warrant.
I almost fell off my chair because they're very quiet next door and never, there's two sides to every story, and we don't know until it really comes to a head.
AMR's general manager says, quote, this kind of behavior is an affront to AMR caregivers across Connecticut who provide high quality care to their patients each and every day with integrity and compassion. His alleged actions are not reflective of our dedicated paramedics and DMTs.
That's a look at today in Connecticut history.